Hello again, Wednesday, January 6th. All right, let's get right into it. We should have finished up Adam Smith and capitalism, this idea that the government should not be involved in the economy. We are now moving in kind of like the opposite of that, where because of all the negative effects and how the workers, specifically the poor working class of people, are treated during the Industrial Revolution, Karl Marx and Frederick Engels um, kind of come up with this new ideology or this new way of controlling the economy, where the government is going to command everything. It's called either the command economy or communism. So Karl Marx is kind of the creator of communism. Him and Frederick Engels take what they see and what they view that is happening in the industrial cities of England and in Germany. Because Karl Marx is from Germany, Frederick Engels is from England. What they see what's happening, and they write the Communist Manifesto, or this other book called Das Kapital, that kind of talks about all these negative aspects and how it's unfair, and how you know the factory owners and the rich people are and the countries are benefiting off of the work of the poor laborer, or as they're going to call them, the proletariat. Okay, the working class of people. So today, Wednesday and Thursday, we are looking at Karl Marx and communism. Our objective in Karl Marx and Frederick Engels' The Communist Manifesto, written in 1848, so about 100 years after the Industrial Revolution begins in England, what points of view are expressed about the impacts of capitalism and the Industrial Revolution. So we're going to look at specifically how does it impact the people and what should we or the government do about it, okay? So you have this little blurb right here, kind of read about the Industrial Revolution and the birth of new ideologies. And then I kind of want you to be able to complete the chart below and formulate your own point of view on government and industry. So read each sentence. The government should act to ensure that workers have safe working conditions. Do you agree or disagree? So you just put an X, depending on what you agree with or disagree. Okay, it's automatically going to pop up in blue or red. It's up to you guys. I want you to formulate your own opinions, okay? Government should act to set a minimum wage for all workers. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, and follow that through the list. Next, document one, the Communist Manifesto. Okay, you're looking at this kind of over the course of 2 days. I want you to annotate the text below, just underline or color in red any words or phrases that describe how the workers or proletariat experienced life during the Industrial Revolution, or anything else that that kind of describes what the government role should be within the economy or within people or workers, or kind of any of these ideas of minimum wage, limiting business can earn each year, whatever it is, okay? The Communist Manifesto is an 1848 political pamphlet written by German philosophers Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. It was prepared for the meeting of the Communist League. This text went on to influence many revolutions and political thinkers. Okay? So here are a couple of different excerpts from it. This is just a 2, so this is like a second kind of bullet point. It is high time that communists should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, their aims, their tendencies, and meet this nursery tale of the specter of communism with a manifesto of the party itself. So just saying, like, we need to come together, we need to say what we mean, and just get it all out there for the world to know. To this end, communists of various nationalities have assembled in London and sketched the following manifesto to be published in the English, French, German, Italian, Flemish, and Danish languages. So this is something that they intend to spread throughout the world. Okay? So part 1 is about the bourgeoisie and proletarians. So this is the history of all society is the history of class struggles. This is actually a very important quote. It ends up in the regions quite a bit. That Karl Marx is basically boiled down to every bit of history that we have is the history of class struggle, poor versus rich versus poor. The bourgeoisie are the rich versus the proletarians, which are the poor. Okay? So as you're reading, read through everything that shows and highlight or underline anything that shows where people's lives are affected. Okay? So, like, here's how every form of society has been based. We have already seen on the antagonism of oppressing and oppressed classes. So, this is all we have. You have the oppressor versus the oppressed. The modern laborer, on the contrary, instead of rising with the progress of industry, sinks deeper and deeper below the conditions of existence of his own class. So instead of everybody kind of rising together and getting better together, and we have all this new technology and this new wealth that's created because of the Industrial Revolution, well, it's only being seen by the rich. The modern laborer sinks deeper and deeper into poverty, that he becomes a pauper. And pauperism develops rapidly and more rapidly than population wealth. So it is easier to fall into being pauper or poverty rather than to rise in wealth. Okay, so wherever you see people's lives being affected, specifically the workers, please highlight that and underline that. Okay, and then you have 4 quick questions about point of view, purpose, and audience. Identify one possible audience for the Communist Manifesto. Who do you think is the audience? Now, we do know, we can kind of see here who they're talking to. Right? Working men of all countries unite. So, who do they want to talk to? Working class people of all countries. Okay? And then please explain, why do you think this is who they are speaking to? All right, so fairly simple for today. You're just really reading that one bit of document, annotating based on any words and phrases that describe how the workers or proletariat experienced life during the Industrial Revolution, or what the government role should be. Okay, next, moving into document 2, identify at least 2 details of the image. So what do we see? I see rich, fancy people having a party on top. I see, I'm guessing, working class people underneath. And then I see, right underneath, holding up the, what just happened? And what are they doing? They are holding, right, they're like holding up the rich class. And we see one worker breaking through the floor. All right, so next, identify the artist's point of view concerning capitalism and the impacts of the Industrial Revolution. So what is the author's or illustrator's point of view? What is his opinion on capitalism and the Industrial Revolution based on what you've seen? For the 7th, I got to change that. For the 7th, looking at a different image, identify these 2 details. So we see capitalism, right? We've got, we rule you, we fool you, we support, we shoot you. Okay, all different levels of society, and at the very bottom, we feed all. Right? We've got all the different rungs of society. We got the workers, and we've got the proletariat at the bottom. Got the bourgeoisie right here. We eat for you. You've got the army saying we shoot you. You've got religion saying we fool you, and you've got the kings and the factory owners saying we rule you. Okay, so identify 2 things and then identify the point of view concerning capitalism and Industrial Revolution. For the last bit of today, just one question. If you were trying to convince others in the proletariat, so other workers, to start a revolution against the bourgeoisie, the rich, Which document do you think would be the most persuasive? So, I mean, circling one would be difficult, but highlight. Would you use the Communist Manifesto? Would you use the From the Depths of the Worker kind of breaking through the floor? Or would you use the Pyramid of Capitalist Systems, which was just above? Which of the three documents do you think would be most persuasive to get another worker or other proletarian on your side? Okay, so just explain why the document you selected would be the most persuasive to convince others to start revolution. So highlight whichever one you think and explain why. All right. You guys have a great day, and I will see you on the Google Meet on Thursday.